You ever get over top of the golf ball and you just feel completely uncomfortable? You scoot back a little bit and it feels like your arms are really stretched out and locked and you can't get comfortable over it. You scoot forward and now you feel like you're jammed up and your arms are too tight. Well, in this video, we're going to talk about how far should I stand from the golf ball and what are the pros and the cons of being a little too close or a little too far away. Let's go and get started. All right, so let's go through a step-by-step system here to get the proper spacing from the golf ball. And I'll talk about the main points at the end of this, the highlights, but let's just go through this and we can all feel how far away we should be. So as we're starting out, get your feet about shoulder width apart if you're going to be using an iron. Now from here, I'm going to drop my hips back until my upper body tilts forward and I'll be looking down at the golf ball now. So if I don't tilt forward enough, I'm going to have to round my shoulders. I don't want to go from my shoulders. I want my hips to come back until my upper body tilts forward and I can now easily see this golf ball. From there, get a little bit of knee flex so you feel athletic, almost like a shortstop, not quite as much knee bend as a shortstop, but you're gonna have a little bit of knee flex, that way you feel like you can move. So I've hinged forward, I've got a little bit of knee flex, and the last thing here, I'm gonna get a little tilt away from the target. That way I feel like I'm behind this golf ball, I can come from the inside, and I can really release that golf club out in front. Once I'm in this great position, all I'm gonna do from here with irons is let my arms hang down. So if you're looking from this down the line view, you'll see how my arm is pretty much hanging right underneath my shoulders and I'm in a great position there. You'll notice how the back of my hand is probably about a hand width or maybe just slightly more than that away from my thighs. And now I'm in a great position here to set up to this golf club or this golf ball. So if I get in that same posture with an iron, I'm gonna feel exactly like this. That's a great posture there. Again, about a hand width away, I've tilted forward with my body and let my arms hang straight down. Now, what happens if I do this incorrectly? Let's say I'm a little too close to the golf ball, or sorry there, once I get in that good posture, I'm gonna move to wherever I need to get to that golf ball. So what I'm doing is I'm telling you how to feel to be in the good posture, and then I'm gonna feel that same way as I address this golf ball. Now my arms are hanging correctly. What I don't wanna do is set up to the golf ball. If I'm feeling weird, I don't wanna set up to the golf ball, maybe my feet are too close or my feet are too far away, then try to match my posture to wherever I set my feet. I want to feel what's good and then move my body to wherever I need to be to match the golf ball from there. What happens if I get a little bit too close? Let's imagine that my arms are hanging too close to my legs. Now all of a sudden, let's imagine I've kind of rounded my shoulders, my hands are low, and my legs are in the way of my hands now. If I swing back, I'm going to hit my legs here. What naturally will happen is your legs will move out of the way in the backswing, but in the downswing, to create more room, I'll end up standing up. And what happens is my hips move toward the ball, I'll lose my posture, and I'm gonna end up using all hands and arms. Because my body's in the way, I can't move it. I'm gonna use all hands and arms to hit this shot. So that's definitely not what we wanna do. We don't wanna be all hands and arms, we can be inconsistent. What happens if we're too far away from it now? Let's say my feet are very far away and my arms are really outstretched to meet this golf ball. Now my hands and arms are locked. My elbows are locked, my wrist is locked, and I'm gonna use mostly body, and I'm not gonna have the speed that I can get from my hands and arms if I'm too far away. So typically when you're farther away, you're gonna use more bigger pieces of your body, your bigger muscles. You're gonna lose a little bit of speed because you're not using the whip and the speed that you'll see with the lag and release like the pros are having. If you're too close, you're not gonna use the big muscles, you're gonna use a little bit too much hands and arms, and we're gonna get wristy and flippy. So it's nice to have somewhere in the middle there. If you wanna be a little farther away, that's completely fine. You can play some good golf. There's been great golfers that are a little farther away from the golf ball. I'm not saying that you can't play good golf. I'm just saying there is a little bit of a downside if we're too far away. If I'm too close, it's gonna be pretty tough because now my body's in the way. I'm gonna have to do something to get my body out of the way, and most likely that's gonna be to stand up. So probably not your best scenario to get too close to the ball. What about with a driver now? So the same kind of thing with a driver. The only difference here is when I tilt forward. So if I'm setting up with a driver, as I tilt forward to look at the golf ball, I don't have to tilt as far. Instead of my body being more down, it's a little bit farther out. So when I'm down here with an iron, I'm gonna be a little bit more up and my arms naturally are gonna be a little bit more out when that happens. So since I'm not as far forward with my upper body, I'm gonna be a little bit more out. My hands are naturally gonna raise up as I'm a little bit more out. So the same thing with the driver. I'm gonna get a tilt until I can see the golf ball, a little bit of knee flex, slight tilt away from the ball. So now I'm in a position to really hit this ball nice and solid. And then I'm gonna let my arms kind of hang out from there, and they're gonna be slightly more out from my body as this is happening. That's because this driver plane is a little flatter. and I have to stand a little farther away. So follow those key steps. You're gonna get the perfect feeling distance from the golf ball. You're gonna have a great blend of your body and your hands and arms to create good club head speed and distance. Now that you're feeling comfortable over top of the golf ball, one of the things that I mentioned is if we want to create speed, we have to have some good lag in the downswing. Well, that lag is actually a little counterintuitive. A lot of people try to set those wrists early to pick up that club and create lag in the backswing, and that's not what you want to be doing. I have a great video that's going to go over this and a lot more tips for creating more lag. I'm going to play a preview of that here in a second. Just click the card on your screen or the link down below in the description. You'll get instant access to that lag video. Let's go ahead and get started. And welcome back. I'm Clay Ballard, and in today's video we're going to talk about one of the absolute worst drills for creating lag. It's a very common drill that I see. And in this drill, what we're going to do is we're going to set the wrist very early to create an angle of lag, and then we're going to try to hold this throughout the swing. It's one of the worst things that you can do to build lag. I'm going to talk about the science behind why this is the case, and I'm also going to give you a great drill to help you improve your lag, all in this video. Let's go ahead and get started. If I do it this way versus holding that position, exact same thing happens when we're building lag in the golf swing. So what we want to do is throughout the swing, I want to have a very low and wide takeaway. So I'm not going to set my wrist early at all. If you look at a lot of the top players, you look at Adam Scott, very wide takeaway, not very much wrist set at all. You look at Rory McIlroy, look at Tiger Woods. All these players are using a wide takeaway and not getting very much wrist set, so that later in the swing, as we start down, we can increase this wrist set, and we're really only going to max out this angle of lag for a split second in the downswing. Okay, so a three-step drill here. Now, as we get started with this, I want to remind you that the fulcrum in this golf club for getting a massive amount of lag is right at the end of the golf club. This is where I want my hinge point to be.